Good morning, everyone. The House Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture and Rural Development and the Department of Natural Resources will come to order. I know everyone's been really excited to get to work on these budgets, and I would first like to excuse absent members.
First, we need to take roll.
Oh, can you call the roll, please?
Of course. Representative Brixey.
Here.
Representative Marbles.
Here.
Representative Puri.
Here.
Representative McKinney. Representative Mincer.
Here.
Representative Borton.
Here.
Representative Alexander.
Here.
You have 6 of 7 members. You have a quorum.
Okay. Do we excuse?
If you'd like to do that now, we can do that now.
Okay, Rep. Martis would make a motion to excuse absent members. All in favor? Aye. Seeing no objection. It's Monday morning in my brain, people. I had a very long weekend going up to Traverse City for a conference and then down to Chicago to visit my 90-year-old mother. Not recommend those 2 drives in 2 days. Okay, Representative Martis moves to adopt the minutes from our prior meeting. There being no objection, the motion prevails. And Representative Puri moves to adopt substitute H1 and place House Bill 5191 H1 appropriations for the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development before our subcommittee. Mr. Clerk?
So the motion is to adopt the H1 substitute. Representative Brixey.
Yes.
Representative Martis.
Yes.
Representative Puri.
Yes.
Representative Mincer.
Yes.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
6 of 7, or 6 members voting yes, the motion is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Would you like to give us a brief presentation of the budget now?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So members have before them, I know you have a great deal of paper in front of you, but I call your attention to, I just had it here. First, you have a copy of the bill. It's House Bill 5511. You have a copy of detailed House Fiscal Agency line item decision document. And you also have a summary document that I just had and I've misplaced. Thank you. So again, you have a copy of the standard House Fiscal Agency summary document in the portrait format. And they all begin at the top with a table. If you look at the table on the table, the top left column is the current year enacted budget. It is a budget of $168.6 million, including almost $92.8 million of state general fund appropriation. The second column is the executive recommendation, and then the third column, labeled House, is the summary of the H1 substitute before you. The gross appropriation in that budget is $149.9 million, including $82.1 million of state general fund appropriations. And it includes 555 full-time equated positions, FTE positions. Then finally, we go to the far right column. The House budget would reflect a decrease in gross appropriations of $18.7 million, and a decrease of state general fund of $10.7 million. And that decrease is primarily due to changes in the one-time column. There are no substantive changes in the ongoing appropriations for the department. All the major changes are in the one-time section. So I'm going to jump down to the middle part of the page. So these are the major changes to baseline line items in the budget. The first item is unclassified salaries. The current year budget includes authorization for 6 unclassified FTE positions funded at $664,900. And the executive budget recommended an increase of $335,100 of restricted funds, and that would provide sufficient funding to support those 6 FTE positions, and the House concurs with the executive. The second item, the budget recognizes a $600,000 federal grant, USDA grant for emergency management. So that's a $600,000 increase in federal support, and the House concurs with the executive. Item 3 is the line item for environmental stewardship, MEEP, and the executive did not propose any changes in baseline funding, but did request an increase in an authorization of 24 additional FTE positions. The House concurs with the funding request, but does not include authorization for those 24 FTE positions. Flipping to page 2, agricultural climate resiliency. The current year ongoing funding is $1 million, and then the House would retain the $1 million in ongoing funding and would add $5 million in one-time general fund support. So that shows the increase. And actually, shoot, that's let me just double check one quick thing to make sure I didn't misstate that. Yes, actually, the increase should be $5 million. And the total would be $6 million in total. So the House changes $5 million. The House includes $5 million in one-time funding. And item 5, local conservation districts. The current year includes $2 million in ongoing funding. The House includes $3 million. That's a $1 million increase in support. Part of that is obtained through a shift in the farm to family program, which is item 6 below. The executive recommended a new line item, $4 million for the farm to family program. The House budget includes $1 million and shifts $1 million to local conservation districts and $2 million to the Double Up Food Bucks program, which is item 7 below. Current year baseline funding for that is $2 million, and the House would increase that by $2 million, bringing the total to $4 million. Office of Rural Development, that had been in MDARD that was transferred to LEO, and the budget reflects that transfer. Item 9, standardbred racing. So the House budget would include a new line item funded at $720,000 from the Ag Equine Industry Development Fund, and that would provide for a standardbred sire stakes race at county fairs. And page 3, the budget removes a number of one-time funding items, and again, that accounts for the biggest change in the gross at the front page, and they're all described here in item 10. Item 11, shoot, that's another typo. It's not item 110. Item 11, the budget reflects economic adjustments that were developed by the State Budget Office. And then finally, there are a number of boilerplate changes. The executive removed a number of standard boilerplate items, and the House restores those with, includes standard language. And then finally, I'm going to jump to the last 4 items at the bottom of page 4. Items 503 and 504 deal with 2 related line items, agricultural resiliency and soil health. The House continued to split those 2 boilerplate items, and Section 503 directs that not less than $9 million be set aside for State Land Grant University for that program. Item 802 defines the priority of the Ag Equine Industry Development Fund. Item 803 defines the standardbred sire stakes program. And item 901 would repurpose $5 million from an existing work project to use an additional $2 million for the Fair Food Network, $3 million additional for the $3 million for the Agricultural Climate Resiliency, $850,000 for Michigan Craft Beverage Council, and $150,000 for the Flint Farmers Market. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Could you summarize the funding for the Agricultural Climate Resiliency and the double up food bucks in total so that people understand the totality of what's being funded for that? I think it would help members understand.
Yes. So agriculture climate resiliency. In the bill itself, you will see a line item on page 5. Where are we? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking in the wrong place. On page 4, there is $1 million appropriation that's ongoing funding on page 5. In the one-time section, there is $5 million. It's a one-time general fund item that would bring you to $6 million. And at the very last page, there is the repurposing of the work project. So there's an additional $3 million appropriated in boilerplate through the repurposing of the $5 million. So $1 million and $5 million and $3 million.
$9 million.
There we go. Thank you. And then
Okay.
similarly with double up food bucks, on page 6, the total ongoing appropriation for double up food bucks, it is, should I'm having trouble? Here we go. On page 5, line 27, the ongoing appropriation for double up food bucks in the bill is $4 million, and then an additional $1 million is earmarked in section 901 boilerplate. So the $4 million plus the $1 million.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot, but when we have items across multiple places in the budget, sometimes it's confusing, and these are priorities that a lot of our my colleagues have and constituents have expressed care and support for. So I wanted to make it clear what this budget is doing for those items. So at this time, I'd like to offer the opportunity for members who have, if anyone has any questions on the budget. Okay. Seeing no questions, I want to just sort of summarize and acknowledge the investment that we are making in programs that effectively support our local food supply, support our Michigan farmers, and ensure we continue to bring healthy food into the homes of Michigan families. Most of us have seen the Double Up Food Bucks at work in our communities and know how many families rely on this important program to access locally grown fruits and vegetables. And Double Up allows families to meet basic needs, offers preventative health care by providing healthy food to those in need. This is really a beloved program, and many farmers markets and grocery stores would like to tap into the program. I think there's 82 organizations on the waiting list, but demand is currently outweighing capacity, and we want to see them be able to allow more people into that program and help expand into additional geographic regions so that we can boost the health and economic outcomes of even more Michigan families. Last year, we made initial investments into MSU for the Climate Resiliency Program, and the partnership between MSU, MDARD, and the Plant Coalition really seeks to develop specialized innovative strategies for adapting to climate change to ensure that our farmers can keep producing for generations to come while we protect Michigan's soil and water resources. MSU has been a tremendous leader in regenerative agriculture and sustainability, and our investments will allow them to expand their important research and protect all the diverse crops that we have here in Michigan. So now we get to the amendments section. So, okay, Representative Alexander.
After Steve's eloquent confusion explanation of this, I would like to withdraw my First Amendment.
William, okay.
William, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're starting out great this morning. First we got unanimous approval of the subs, and now we have withdrawal of an amendment. Okay, Representative, okay, which one of you is going to make amendment number 2?
I'm gonna
Rep.
take that one.
Borton. Okay,
All set?
yep.
All right, thank you, Chair Brixey. And also, I'd like to start off by saying thank you for the time you took to work with me on this and address my concerns. That was very much appreciated. So with that being said, I do have an amendment. And my motion eliminates farm to family, the $4 million GF, and the 6 FTEs. And this is not a core government function. And this would be a legitimate programming function of a statewide farm support organization. And with that, I move my amendment.
Mr. Clerk, will you take the roll?
On the amendment labeled Amendment 2, Representative Brixey.
No.
I'm sorry, I've become an awful paper shuffler. Please excuse me. All right, start over. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Puri.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Menzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 2 of 7 members, yes, not sufficient number.
Are there further amendments? Representative Borton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My amendment, or my motion, is to eliminate $1.6 million in the Qualified Forest Program. And the reasoning for that is the program should have been self-sufficient by fee revenue with no need for GF at least 8 years ago. Overall, any property interested in the program has joined by now, and there's no need to extensively market this program. With that, I move my amendment.
Mr. Clerk, will you take the roll?
Yes, on the amendment labeled Amendment 3, Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Puri.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Menzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have 2 no votes, 2 yes votes, 5 no votes. The motion is not adopted.
Okay. Okay, do we have any comments on, any final comments on the budget before we take the vote? Rep. Menzer.
On amendment number 2, there were 2 sections to amend. We only, I think we only spoke to one of them. No?
It failed.
Okay.
That's all I'll need be said.
Okay, members, do we have any comments on the ag budget? My Republican colleagues, any comments on the ag budget? No? Okay. I did want to say one final thing. I appreciated my minority vice chair's input on this budget, And as he alluded to, we did see eye to eye on a number of items in these budgets. And we left the conservation districts alone. And I appreciate the feedback that you folks provided me with. I think we're ready for a vote. Mr. Clerk?
You need a motion to report the
Oh,
bill?
Rep. Martis moves to report the bill.
On the motion to report the bill to the full House Committee on Appropriations, Rep. Brixey.
Yes.
Rep. Martis?
Yes.
Representative Puri?
Yes.
Representative McKinney?
Yes.
Representative Minzer?
Yes.
Representative Borton?
Pass.
Representative Alexander?
Pass.
Madam Chair, you have 5 yes votes, 2 passes. The motion is adopted.
Thank you. Now we will take a brief recess to get ready for the next budget. Coming back to order for our DNR budget. We will begin with Representative McKinney moving to adopt substitute H1 and place House Bill 5512 H1 appropriations for the Department of Natural Resources before the subcommittee. Mr. Clerk, would you take the roll?
Question before the subcommittee, excuse me, is the adoption of substitute H1 for House Bill 5512. Representative Brixey.
Yes.
Representative Martis.
Yes.
Representative Pori.
Yeah.
Representative McKinney.
Yes.
Representative Minzer.
Yes.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 7 yes votes. Substitute H1 for House Bill 5512 has been adopted.
Thank you. Would you like to give us a brief presentation on the budget?
Thank you. I'm Austin Scott from the House Fiscal Agency. I'm going to be speaking to the substitute H1 for House Bill 5512 that was just adopted by the subcommittee. This substitute would provide appropriations for the Department of Natural Resources for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2024, and continuing through the end of September 2025. Much of the items that are in here are familiar to those who are familiar with the executive budget that was published in February. So there's a great deal of overlap. First, I'll speak to the chart at the top of the page. You'll see the change in gross funding between the executive budget and the House budget is a result of a difference in restricted funding. I'll call your attention to the line for restricted funding. Executive budget funded the department for next year at $371.1 million. That's restricted funding specifically. The House substitute funds the department or provides restricted authorization of $353.9 million in restricted funding. I call your attention to that because that is the major change in this chart when you're looking at the substitute adopted this morning versus what was published and produced by the executive branch in February. Item number 1 explains that change, recreation passport revenue. There was the addition of $17.2 million in restricted authorization for the department beginning next fiscal year that was included in the executive budget as a result of changing how recreation, or the process for recreation passport sales. That the addition of that revenue is not included. So you see that out to the right, there's a $0 in the change for the substitute. So the House does not include that additional revenue for the change in recreation passport process. The remainder of the 3 items on the first page here, capital outlay, adjustments, the Nature Awaits program, and the Archives of Michigan transfer, all of those were concurred in both the executive recommendation as well as the House substitute. Those 3 happen to be decreases in funding over current year. Flipping forward to page 2. Item numbers, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, those first 4 there, those are all concurrences between the executive recommendation and the House substitute adopted this morning, additions for vehicle travel services, additions for equipment in law enforcement and wildfire protection, specifically modem and radio replacements, records management and reporting system increase in funding for general law enforcement is also included in the House substitute, as is an increase in FTEs and compensation for that new FTE position for the Land and Water Conservation Fund program. The next 4, the balance of this page 2, item numbers 9 through 12. Each of these 4 are concurrences between the executive version of next year's budget and this House version of next year's budget as well. A gross increase for the Accounting Service Center and some spending authorization alignments that were included in the executive budget are concurred with. Item number 12 is the addition of 3.5 FTE positions for Cultural Resource Management, a new program that's in current year continuing on to next fiscal year. And the removal of current year one-time appropriations are concurred in between the executive version and the House substitute as well. Flipping over to the final Part 1 change is at the top of page 3. There are economic adjustments included for Department of Natural Resources staff. Those are concurred in as well between the executive budget and the House substitute. I'll call your attention to a few boilerplate sections before returning the floor to our chair, Representative Brixey. I'll start with section 210, is contingency fund transfer authority. That was increased in the House substitute that was just adopted this morning from $5 million to $25 million. That's an increase in state restricted contingency authority. Flipping forward to page 4, please. Page 4, I'll call your attention to the middle of the page. There's a section 1201, section 1201 repurposes a couple of existing work project balances for new funding purposes. There is, you'll find in the bill in that section 1201, $3 million for the Huron-Waterloo Pathways Initiative Border-to-Border Trail, $1 million for the Copper Peak Ski Jump Project, and $1 million for the Michigan the Beautiful Initiative. Again, this is a gross change of $5 million of repurposing existing or carry forward general fund work project balances. Those are the major changes in Part 1 and Part 2, and I'm happy to take questions at the chair's discretion.
Are there any questions for our clerk? Seeing none, I'll ask, are there any amendments? There are, so, okay. Representative Alexander.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Chair. I would like to move my amendment. This amendment would reallocate some of the money for fish production. We currently use, as the bill shows, roughly around $21 million for just fish production. And it would reallocate about a third of that, $77.3 million to address aquatic invasive species, which we have identified through our 319 grant process as being the cause of the root issue of the reduction in fish in the first place. So I would like to move that amendment, please.
Any further comment on the amendment? Call the roll, please.
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 1, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Minzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes and 2 yes votes. Amendment 1 is not adopted.
Representative Borton, would you have an amendment to offer?
Yes, thank you, Chair Brixey, and once again, I'd like to thank you for the time you spent with me on this budget and hearing my concerns. I appreciate that. My amendment eliminates $4 million GF from Nature Awaits. This is not a core government function.
Could you,
I move my amendment.
any comments on the, could you call the roll, please?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 2, offered and moved by Representative Borton. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Minzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes, 2 yes votes. Amendment 2 is not adopted.
Representative Alexander, do you have an amendment?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair. I would like to move my amendment to eliminate $934,000 general fund for the Civilian Conservation Corporation. This is not a core government function.
Clerk, will you please call the roll on amendment number 3?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 3, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Minzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes and 2 yes votes. Amendment 3 is not adopted.
Representative Alexander, would you like to read the next, make another amendment?
Yes, please. Maybe this one.
Number 4.
Number 4. Oops. Thank you, Chair. I would like to move amendment number 4 to eliminate the proposed $700,000 general funds records management software.
Can you call the roll?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 4, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Minzer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes and 2 yes votes. Amendment 4 is not adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Borton, do you have another amendment?
I do. Thank you, Chair Brixey. I move that the dam management increase by $1 million GF with direction to go directly to dam repairs on state-owned land and not for bureaucracy. I move my amendment.
Okay, he moved his damn amendment.
I did.
I couldn't resist. Can you call the roll, please?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 5, offered and moved by Representative Borton. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Minzer.
No.
Representative Borton,
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes, 2 yes votes. Amendment 5 is not adopted.
In other words, Representative Borton's dam amendment failed. Representative Alexander?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move my amendment number 6, and this through the Sportsman's Caucus and representative, request from Representative Cabot. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's one that we've adopted before for a lesser amount. The Sportsmen's Against Hunger Processing donated deer program that they have is an outstanding program. It helps a lot of needy people in the areas. And at this point, each of the deer that they're harvesting that are donated for the needy is not being funded at a level that the meat processors will be interested in helping us with. It's a state program, and we'd like to see an increase in that. I would like to add another $600,000 to Sportsmen's Against Hunger for processing donated deer, which I have done myself.
Seeing no further comments, would you take the roll?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 6, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Mincer.
Pass.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 4 no votes, 1 pass, 2 yes votes. Amendment 6 is not adopted.
Representative Borton?
Thank you, Chair Brixey, and yes, I have another dam amendment. This one is to include 1.5 million GF to rebuild Cornwall Flooding Dam in Sheboygan County. I move my amendment.
Would you please call the roll?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 7, offered and moved by Representative Borton. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Mincer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes, 2 yes votes. Amendment 7 is not adopted.
Representative Borton?
Thank you,
Do you
Chair.
have another amendment?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair Brixey. I would like to include 2.5 million for the Manistee and Osable Rivers fish habitat restorations. I move my amendment.
Mr. Clerk?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 8, offered and moved by Representative Borton. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Mincer.
Pass.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 4 no votes, 1 pass, 2 yes votes. Amendment 8 is not adopted.
Representative Alexander?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to move my amendment number 9 for $100,000 in Bay County for Monitor Township Park improvements.
Mr. Clerk?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 9, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Mincer.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes, 2 yes votes. Amendment 9 is not adopted.
Representative Alexander? You have another amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to restore in the boilerplate language DNR-specific programs. One is to encourage USDA deer harvest in TB areas. One is for timber marketing reporting. One is for snowmobile law enforcement grants to county sheriffs. One is for marine safety grants to county sheriffs. And One final one is Deer Harvest Check Stations for chronic wasting disease.
Mr. Clerk?
I made the motion before.
Question for the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 10, offered and moved by Representative Alexander. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Menser.
No.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 no votes, 2 yes votes. Amendment 10 is not adopted.
And Representative Borton, do you have a final amendment?
I do, and it is not a damn amendment, so thank you, Chair Brixey. My final amendment here is simply to allow people to feed birds in their backyards without fear of prosecution. I move my amendment to add this to boilerplate.
Representative Borton, have you ever personally had an encounter with the DNR over feeding of wildlife in your own property?
I absolutely have. Yeah, I feed birds in my property, and I've been ticketed twice. Both times I was successful in court fighting it, and the third time they decided they were going to take me to circuit court, but the Attorney General at that time advised them against that. The law got changed, but for some reason they brought it back. The NRC did, and right now, if you feed birds in the state of Michigan and any of that gets on the ground and a deer shows up, you are baiting. It's a misdemeanor the first 2 times. If it happens 3 times, it's a felony. Absolutely insane. And I know a number of people that are fighting these tickets right now.
Mr. Clerk?
Question before the subcommittee is the adoption of Amendment 11, offered and moved by Representative Borton. Representative Brixey.
No.
Representative Martis.
No.
Representative Pori.
No.
Representative McKinney.
No.
Representative Menser.
Yes.
Representative Borton.
Yes.
Representative Alexander.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there are 4 no votes, 3 yes votes. Amendment 11 is not adopted.
Okay, wow, we made it through all the amendments. So as we are getting ready to vote on the final budget, I'd like to point out a couple of highlights of this budget. $3 million to support the completion of the Huron-Waterloo Pathways border-to-border trail. This is a 35-mile, 10-foot wide ADA accessible pathway that travels throughout a large part of the state. It connects so many of our communities together and will provide new opportunities for Michiganders of every age and ability to enjoy our treasured natural resources together. We also invested $1 million to the Copper Peak ski jump in Ironwood. Ski jumpers and fans from all over the world have been advocating for the reestablishment of Copper Peak as the world's largest active ski jump for both summer and winter seasons. I think that aspect of this is really important. Winter was very mild in the Upper Peninsula this year, and it's important to note that the Copper Peak folks have a multi-season surface and would plan on having big events primarily in fall when there is not typically snow yet. It'll benefit the sport by increasing American interest in ski jumping, but most importantly, it'll really revitalize the UP by drawing global supporters to come to our state and create a lot of new exciting economic opportunities in the region. We also supported the Nature Conservancy's Michigan the Beautiful initiative, which aims to protect our unique natural spaces by providing staff, research, and data compilation to help them with their goal of conserving 30% of Michigan's land and water by 2030. I think we all care about our state's natural resources and beauty, but it's critical that we take steps now to ensure we can enjoy these treasures for generations to come. Do any of our colleagues have any comments on this budget? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you take the roll? Oh, I'm sorry. Representative Martis moves the budget. HB 5512, H1, out of subcommittee.
Question before the subcommittee is reporting H1 substitute for House Bill 5512 to the House Appropriations Committee. Moved by Representative Martis. Representative Brixey.
Yes.
Representative Martis.
Yes.
Representative Pori.
Yes.
Representative McKinney.
Yes.
Representative Mincer.
Yes.
Representative Borton.
Pass.
Representative Alexander.
Pass.
Madam Chair, there are 5 yes votes, 2 passes. Substitute H1 for House Bill 5512 is reported to the House Appropriations Committee.
Okay, seeing no other business before the committee? Oops. No, we did the second page. We're good. Seeing, yeah, we just did the DNR budget. Seeing no other business before the committee? We're adjourned.